Suzanne Ibrahim som skildrar det dagliga livet i Syrienkriget i boken När vinden exploderar mot min hud. Och jag hoppas att vi har Suzanne på plats i publiken och även från TEG Publishing Helena Fagertun. Välkomna upp på scen om ni är här. Ja. Ja, förlåt, det är ingen trappa där. Går det bra?
So, my name is Helena Fagertun, and I have the great pleasure of talking to Suzanne Ibrahim about her book När vinden exploderar mot min hud, Dagbok från Damaskus, which has not been published in Arabic, but it has been published in Swedish, translated by Anna Jansson, and published at TEG Publishing. Suzanne Ibrahim, you are a poet, writer, and journalist, comes from Homs in Syria, and lived in Syria until 2018, dividing your time between Homs and Damaskus. You have published a number of books, both short stories and poetry collections, and some of your books, your poetry books, have been translated into French. Yeah. Some of your poetry has also been translated into Swedish by Yasin Mohammed and published in magazines such as Provins and Kritiker. In the beginning of 2018, you arrived in Östersund as the city's first icon guest, fristadsförfattare. And as a start to this talk, I would like to read just a short passage in Swedish only. Okay. Jag kan fortfarande minnas hur allting luktade den där märkliga dagen då jag försökte ta mig hem från en morgonpromenad uppe på Occasion. Jag minns hur brisen doftade, jorden, träden och gräset. Jag minns vildpepparns mogna röda frukter som läckte hartsliknande olja när jag krossade dem i handflatan och drog in deras arom, och doften av kardemumman i kaffet vi läppjade på. Till och med säkerhetsavspärrningarna hade en särskild lukt. En förvirrande fråga snubblade över sina egna bokstäver i mitt huvud och svajade som en osäker lindansare högt uppe i luften. Vad var det som hade hänt? Eller snarare, vad är det som händer? And I would like to ask you, what was it that happened that day in 2011 when you couldn't get home after your morning walk?
Yeah. First of all, hello and nice to meet you here. She mentioned a certain very difficult day in my life, which was there something before this date and after. I was walking. I went to Kasyon, the well-known mountain in Damascus. I went on Friday for a walk and to see the city from above. It is an amazing scene indeed. So I went with a friend to the mountain, and we walked for about 2 hours. Then we decided to go back home, and suddenly a checkpoint said, "You cannot go from this way. Try another road." We went to another road, and another point check asked us to go to another road. We stayed about 2 hours around my home, and I couldn't get in my home. So it was something terrible. I was astonished, afraid that I couldn't come my home in my own city, in my own homeland, and it was really a bad experience for me. And at that moment, I started to write my diaries because there is something changing.
And you hadn't written diaries before, or did the diary writing change after that moment?
You know, one of my hobbies was to write my diaries now and then. But starting from this date, that day, I began to write my diaries day by day, because every day there was something new, horrible, I mean. Explosions, rockets, mortars, demonstrations, fears, everything.
And did you write the diary to remember all these things for yourself, or did you think about publishing even in the beginning?
No, in the beginning, just to empty my memory, because I had some nightmares. So writing about your fears is something to get rid of them and to make balance. At first I didn't think that I will publish them as a book, but just to remember them. And this is, you know, like a private history about my life.
And this diary, När vinden exploderar mot min hud, it describes the first year from 2011 through 2012 of the war. How was your life during this time in Syria?
Oh, it's so difficult indeed, because every day you will leave your home. I will leave for my home, and I was not sure if I will come back again or not. Maybe I will be killed for any reason. Many demonstrations, many checkpoints, and those kidnapped also, you may kidnapped if you have a taxi. So I was always sure about the taxi, because I should know the driver before I had a taxi to go to my job, for example.
Yes, and you worked at a newspaper at this time. Could you continue working there, or how was that being a journalist?
Yes, I continued to write, but most of my articles were about the war and the Syrians, because we don't know what it is going on. But we were afraid that it will become like a war, from a peace demonstrations to a civil war.
Yes, and how early on did you realize that it was going to be a war and not just the demonstrations? Because had you hope from the beginning?
Yes, we had hope. All Syrians had hope, because they wanted something to be changed, more democracy, more freedom. But after, I think, 3 months from the beginning, something went wrong. All weapons appeared with the rebels and then the army, and we lost hope at that moment indeed, because it was just a civil war, kidnapping from each other, killing each other.
I suggest we read one more diary entry from the 13th of May, and if you could please read it in Arabic first, and I'll read the Swedish version afterwards.
السيناريو عينه يتكرر هذا اليوم أيضا، يوم الاثنين 30 مايو، إذ بدأ العرض بالمطالبة بإسقاط النظام، ثم زعيق وصفير وتصفيق، رائحة شواء تدهم أنفي، أسرع إلى النافذة لاستطلاع المصدر الذي أثار لعاب شهيتي. إنها شرفة جيراني التي تقع تحت نافذتي مباشرة. أرفع بعض الملابس التي علقتها على الحبال بعد أن تغلغلت رائحة الشواء في نسيجها. سيارة مسرعة وصوت مطرب حماسي ينطلق من جهاز تسجيلها. يتكرر الأمر نفسه في حمص، فقد كتب نزار ليلة الثلاثاء 31 مايو: رصاص وتكبير وشرفة وأنا مصر على مرافقة محمود درويش. علمونا أن نغني ونداري كي لا يصبح الترنيم بالحب مملاً. عندما تنفجر الريح بجلدي سأسمي كل شيء باسمه.
Manifestationen började med kravet att regeringen faller. Sedan följde rop, visslingar och applåder. Jag överraskades av doften av grillat kött och skyndade mig till fönstret för att undersöka källan till doften som fick det att vattnas i munnen. Den kom från grannens balkong rakt under mitt fönster. Jag plockade bort mina kläder från tvättlinan innan grillukten satte sig i tyget. En bil körde förbi med en passionerad sångröst strömmande ur högtalarna. Det såg likadant ut i Homs, för Nizar skrev senare på kvällen: skottlossning, Allahu Akbar, balkongerna fulla av folk. Jag insisterar på Mahmoud Darwish sällskap. När vinden exploderar mot min hud döper jag allting till dess namn. Sorgen och natten krossar jag med mina bojor. In this passage we meet Nizar, who is a very important person in the book.
Yes.
Who is he?
He's one of my close friends. He was living in Homs, which I was born in, and I was in Damascus for my job as a journalist. And I want always to know what is going in Homs, because my family is there. My brother, sister, dad, mom. So we were always exchanging SMS, and sometimes in an indirect way, because some words will not leave my mobile. If I mentioned revolution, democracy, some places in Syria, any place, any name, the SMS will not leave my mobile. So we did something like a code to be in touch and to know what is going on.
And Nizar is one of the people we meet in the book, but you also tell the stories and destinies of many other,
Yes.
Abu Layla, for instance, and Sarah. How did you come up with this form? Because it's not only that we follow your everyday life, but we also meet all these other people.
You know, war, it was something, a public affair. It hurt me, it hurts my neighbors, my family, my friends. So I want to convey all the stories I was involved with, the stories of my friends, of my neighbor. It was a part of my life, because I have a close relationship with my neighbors, for example, with my friends, my family. So I tried to write about many voices in these diaries.
At the end of the book, there is a small recap of what happened to some of the most important people
Yes.
in the book, because it ends in 2012.
Yes.
Yes. And some moved out of the cities of Damascus and Homs. Some were
Yes.
killed or
Yes.
died. And you stayed maybe the longest in Damascus
yes,
until
yes.
2018. How come you stayed so long?
Because I have no other choice. I had no other choice in that time. My children were inside Syria, so when they left Syria, then my mom became so ill, I was obliged to take care about her. Then I tried to be connected with pen and it failed until I was in touch with Icon. So I get this good opportunity to be here.
And in 2018 you became Östersunds first fristadsförfattare.
Yes. Yeah.
How has these 2 years, almost 2 years now,
Yeah.
been for you and your writing?
You know, it is unbelievable. Sometimes if I want to compare, it was just a few hours by the flight. I came from hell to paradise. It was something new for me to be safe and to speak aloud and to express my thought in a free way. So it is a wonderful experience for me indeed.
And you haven't been able to publish this book in Arabic, as I said in the beginning.
No.
And why do you think this is?
It was impossible for me to publish it while I was in Syria. It is so dangerous because I criticized both the regime and the Islamists. So now maybe I hope we can publish it in Arabic.
Yes. And how do you think people in the Arabic reading world would read the book?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They will not accept, I think, especially when you deal with politics and religion, it will be many enemies there.
And how are your hopes for Syria today?
Oh, I hope peace and progress. And the first step is that this war should be stopped immediately for all the millions of Syrians inside and outside Syria.
And do you still keep in touch with your friends back in Syria that are still there?
Yes, some of them, of course, some of them, especially Nizar.
Nizar. And how is Nizar today? What is he doing?
He is in Turkey, he is a businessman in Turkey, and we're still in touch.
And this diary ends in 2012. Are you writing on, working on the diaries from, because I know you continued writing the diaries.
There is another diaries for 2013, 2014, and I hope I will, indeed I started, I already started to write the next book.
Yes, I think we will end this conversation now, but I'm very happy that I got to talk to you here at Globala Torget, and the books are for sale down there, and you can also get them signed by Suzanne if you would like to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.